Hello, hello. This is Creating Cards with Sherry. I'm Sherry, and I'm so glad that you have joined me today for my Tickled Tuesday video. I am going to be doing something with our masking decorative, our loveliest layers decorative masks. I brought these out because they're retiring by the end of this month, and I told you when I was on my last video that I would show you how they work. So I'm going to make two different cards today to show you the types of things that you can do with these, so that the next catalog that comes out, if you want to get these masks, these sheets to do masking, you can definitely do that. Masking is a way to layer things and cover things up and all that sort of stuff, and it can be a lot of fun and can make some really creative cards. Tonight I'm going to use a paste, a special paste that we use for masking, and I'm going to put it on here. When you use this, you definitely want to have it on a sheet of paper or something, because it can get messy. Let's just put it that way. I made this card just to show an example of it. This is the pattern that is on this card. If you can, I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's raised just ever so slightly, and it makes just a very unique design. And this paste that I have is actually shimmery white, and you just you will want not just the paste and the masking sheets, but you'll want the palette knives that will help you spread this stuff on. So you just go on into the paste, stir it around, and you start to apply. And you will want to probably tape your sheet down so that it doesn't slide everywhere. I thought this would hold between the holes, but I see it didn't. So I'm just going to bring it down this way. There we go. And you just apply the paste. And I got the shimmery white so that there's a little bit of sparkle with it. I like sparkly. And you just spread it around. Make sure you get all the holes filled. You put the card size that you want to have your paste on underneath the card, underneath this thing, of course, because that's where the paste, that's what the paste is going to stick to. Then you can just go through and get all the excess off. It's really easy, but it is messy. So, in fact, the instructions say that as soon as you're done using the sheet and the knife, you want to put them in warm, soapy water immediately, because if you wait too long, then it sticks and it's really not that easy to remove. So I happen to have some warm, soapy water over here with me. I'm going to go ahead, throw my knife in there, take this apart, and I'll throw the sheet in there as well. And there you can see we have the pattern on this piece of paper, on this cardstock, and this is Pacific Blue. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this aside so it can dry, and we're going to go ahead and work on the other masking card, and then we'll come back to that. All right. For this one, I'm using a basic white as my base card. Oops, this actually goes with this. Looking at the wrong one. Let's see what, oh, here it is. I'm using the Pear Pizzazz as my base card. I'm going to layer brown and early espresso on there. We are going to make this card, by the way. And so I have the early espresso on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and seal this on right away. There we go. And that's 5 1/4 by 4. This is 5 by 3 3 3/4. There we go. What you want to do with these, because you're layering now, is you want to start, you want to center it on your card where it needs to be, and then you want to take some kind of like painter's tape, or I've been using washi tape, and I just basically tape this down in position so that it won't slide, because they do tend to slide really easy. There's a lot of different ways that you can mask. In fact, the package that this comes in tells you you can spritz it using ink, chalk, or glimmer sprays. You can sponge it, which is what we're going to do today. You can trace it with your markers. You can emboss it. And you can add texture, which is what we're doing with the other card. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to start using the sponges. I'm using Pear Pizzazz for my leaves. So I'm just going to dab my ink on it. If I feel like I need to, I'll spread it around a little bit. And if you don't want it that dark, then you can sponge it off on the side and then keep going to what you want to do. Now, and then this is going to be my next spot, and I'm just trying to figure out in comparison with my card here what I did. So I want to make sure that I do the same thing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it on top of my leaf card so that I have it in the same spot. And then I'm going to start to remove those leaves. But you want it lined up so that when you do start to ink it, you have it exactly where it needs to be. And it's kind of tricky, so I usually get that top sheet over just a tad, and then I line it up. And then I'll take this one and just line it up one more time to make sure I haven't goofed on anything. And carefully remove it. And then I'll tape this in place. Whoop. Okay. So I'm going to use the early espresso now. Now these masking sheets can be wiped down with a baby wipe. They can also be washed in the soapy water. Any way that you want to clean it is fine. I'm using our sponge daubers. You can get them at a very inexpensive rate. And okay, that takes care of that one. Then we're going to do one more layer. And that's this one. I want to make sure that I'm putting it on there right. It's going to line up like this. And this one won't be too hard to figure out because my holes will line up with the dots. And the center goes right smack in the center. So that one's not a tough one to line up. Okay, and for this color, I am using Flirty Flamingo. As you can see, I'm not constantly dabbing into the ink. It doesn't take much, and you can just get it to spread quite far. Okay. Then I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to throw these sheets in my soapy water. Now you can see that some of this smeared, and that can happen. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you have it taped in place and that it's not moving around. It's a little tricky to do. All right, in this card and on this one, no, I take that back. This one I used dies from the Welcome Home set, and those dies are expiring at the end of this month. So if you want those, you'll need to get it right away. Otherwise, I am using dies. I'm also using dies from the Sentimental Park and stamps. And for this particular card, I'm just using the word love. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and we're going to seal it. If you don't get a lot of mess there, you can let it go and it gives it a little character or whatever if you want. I'm also going to use the opal rounds. Another thing that you could do is if you wanted to put, you could put a bow right there and it would totally cover it up and nobody would know the difference. There are ways of hiding that kind of stuff. I'm not going to bother with it right now. I'm going to take these opal rounds and I'm going to use 3 of them. Oh, I thought I had some here. Trying to find some bigger ones to fit in that big circle. There we go. And that's our card. It's very simple, very easy to do, and it goes real quick. So if you want to do some masking with the masking sheets, get the new ones that are coming out in the new catalog and have fun with it. It would be a great time to give it a try. Just don't forget that you're going to need the palette knives as well as the paste. My mind is going, I can't think of all the names here. Okay, now we're going to go back to this one. And I already cut out from the Sentimental Park dies some images that I'm going to use. And because this is raised, I think the best way to adhere anything to it is with either some mini dots or the dimensionals. So I'm going to put, I'm hoping that this will not show through. It might. Maybe I'll try the mini dots. I know I left them right here. I'm not sure where they went to. They're hiding underneath my stamp thing. All right. Let's try this again. Now, what I'm doing is I'm flipping this tool around. Because what I'm going to do, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but I'm going to go on the end of that dot and I'm going to twist it around. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make it small enough that it will fit right there on the leaf and narrow enough. So I'm going to do that again. Let's see. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. And then this is where I'm going to use my dimensionals. And I'm going to make these, raise these up, not just at the top, but also on the lower layer. So that it will stick out nice. Okay, and then I also had stamped the words "Dear Friend" from this Sentimental Park stamp set. And I used one of the die cuts as my label. So I am going to add some dimensionals to that as well. And before I get too much further, I am going to glue this in place. And I don't want to scrunch it by putting the seal on it, so I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue. there. Now, as you can see, when I was doing the masking, some of this didn't build up very clear and it's kind of messy. And that's where this comes in, because I can put that right over here and basically cover that up and it'll look really nice. Isn't that cool? I love that pattern. It's really kind of neat how that turned out. When I first saw it, I was like, ugh, what am I going to do with that? But it really looks nice and it makes a cute card. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you will consider getting the masks because they can be a lot of fun, and there's always a variety of ways that you can make cards through them. So if you want to purchase anything today, please be sure to go to my shop, Creating Cards with Sherry at .stampinup.net. Use the host code X3UCXVAW, and you can go to my blog to get the instructions on how to make these cards. I don't have it ready just yet, so give me another day before I get it up there, but I will get it up, and we will have everything ready for you. Thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. Make sure you tell your friends about this and that they hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and that bell that'll tell you to when the videos are ready and up and running for you. And I just really appreciate your support and all that you do. All right, so thank you so much. I will get back to you again on Sunday for my Simple Sunday video. Bye now.